coming off on a high because I just filmed my engagement announcement video. But anyway, so it's January 10th. It's January 10th and I really want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart series for the first time in January. Specifically, I always saw it as January, and then I actually saw, well, I guess I don't want to spoil it. I have a very specific series that I want to get through in February, unless there are any releases and stuff like that. But anyway, so I want to get that started. I actually started the first 5 chapters of Once Upon a Broken Heart when I was reading Caraval, because there was this moment that you can tandem read, which I was actually saying how in my Caraval video, how I found the video, and it was just like so random and so lucky that I found this little snippet of like a teaser into the next series, which was really cool. So I read 5 chapters. I really want to read this one now. So I have the audiobooks actually all pretty much ready. I have Spotify hours and I'm going to use that for Once Upon a Broken Heart, the first book, and then I have the second book on Libby already ready to go, and then I'll see how many hours I have left for A Curse for True Love. Yeah, I'm excited. I have like everything kind of planned, but I will be going back and forth with my physical copies because I have been searching far and wide for the specific variety of the physical copies, like specifically the light pink and the light purple and the lighter pink color. And so I want to obviously read them physically because I'm like, I have searched far and wide for you guys and you guys will be being read. I wanted to actually restart the book because even though I read those first 5 chapters, I just want to be reminded of like where we're going and who we're coming across, you know, and who we're going to be reading about for the next 3 books. I will get back to you guys a little later when I have an update for you. Hey guys, I have been listening to The Ballad of Never After for, I want to say like a week now. It's been taking me quite a minute to get through just January in general, like January reading specifically. It's just been really busy and I'm trying to get like everything in my life very situated and very in order before I could feel like I could just settle down and read a lot. And I feel like especially with the beginning of the year, it's kind of easier to get all my ducks in a row right now versus like just kind of like ignore different things that I know are making me anxious in the back of my mind and then later in the year like fix it. So I'd rather do that now. Regardless, I'm listening to The Ballad of Never After and I am on chapter 43 and 44 and we just reached something crazy. I like to follow along listening and reading at the same time because it makes me kind of understand more and more what's happening and stuff. But something crazy just happened and like honestly the first book, I think I would have given it like maybe a 3 stars. This one for sure 4. Like 100% 4-star already. I haven't even finished it yet because my prejudice against Jax has melted a little bit. And I had a very big grudge against Jax because I feel like as a character, he's a little bit like, I don't want to say annoying, but it's almost like there's not quite enough reason for him to be the way that he is. But then the more that we get to know him, I'm like, okay, well, there actually seems to be a reason. And I don't know, there were some certain chapters that I screenshotted the chapters like on my phone so that I could go back and annotate because those moments I was like, wow, I feel like we're seeing more and more of him and I can't help but be a little bit more melted. You know, my heart's just kind of melting and the ice is thawing. So my opinion of Jax is getting a little higher and now I'm kind of like here for it. I'm kind of like, I understand like where this is heading and I'm like actually really enjoying this book now. I feel like I'm just appreciating the world as well because book 2, I feel like we've done a lot of world building and I know book 3 is known to be very Fever Dream-esque. I know it's known to be very feedy, and so I'm just kind of getting ready for that. But I really love the world building that Stephanie Garber has done within these books. Caraval was a little harder for me to kind of like follow along with. This one is actually very fun and very easy, and I feel like she's kind of perfected her craft with these books, which I could tell the difference in writing, more experience in writing with this series. I really like what she's doing. Her writing style specifically though is a little bit sometimes difficult for me because it's very like the characters are not dumb. And I guess that's actually something that I have a gripe with because I'm so used to the character, like the main characters not knowing anything basically. Like they can kind of figure things out, but it's at the same pace that you are or you're ahead of them. In this case, the characters are thinking at the same pace that I am. So like everything that I start clicking together, she starts clicking together, and it's just like so on and so on. So that's something that I just kind of like, whoa, why is this character thinking at the same rate as I am? Like now I don't know if it's actually the case for the plot twist because she thought it. But anyway, so I'm gonna go keep listening and reading along, but I just wanted to update because this is like a crucial part in the book that makes me like want to talk about it. So yeah. I just finished The Ballad of Never After and I am in shock. I'm in awe. I just don't know, like, this is crazy. I immediately returned my loan, or like, you know, like, yeah, returned my loan from Libby, and then immediately after followed up by borrowing A Curse for True Love on Libby as well, and I'm very glad that I have it available on Libby. But wow. Yeah, I am actually like so intrigued and so shocked and surprised, and I'm here for A Curse for True Love, and I'm like, where is this gonna go? What are we gonna find out? How is this going to like conclude? That's what I'm trying to find out. So I'll update you guys later. I'm sick again. I am going to put it on my New Year resolution to figure out why I'm always sick. I need to start taking lots of vitamins. I work out, I get my steps in, I go out into the sun, I eat as healthy as possible. I am so like aware of what I'm eating all the time, and I still get sick like this. To be fair though, we did have a little bit of a scare with my cat, and we have a surgery planned for her on Monday, and today is Saturday. And to be honest, it was really stressful. And yeah, so today's Saturday, and Thursday night it like kind of like the scare happened, and I was obviously like a wreck, and I was like breaking down crying. And usually after something like that happens, my body just kind of like, my immune system is a little bit shot, and so I kind of get sick after having like crazy breakdowns like that, especially if it's something scary like that with like, you know, my pet and whatever. But anyway, let's just take my vitamins and we're gonna move on. I actually took 2 vitamins yesterday and I feel way better today. And I've heard that oregano oil under the tongue when you're feeling sick gets rid of it, like gets rid of the feeling of being sick, and like kind of just stops it before it happens. So I'm going to be trying that soon. I just want to get my hands on some oregano oil. Anyway, I'm on A Curse for True Love, and I have a lot to say, and I have no tripod. 2 candles and 1 toilet paper roll, because I'm using it for, okay, maybe 3 candles. Should I wear my glasses again? Maybe I should. No. I mean, hypothetically. You know what? The glasses actually make my vision better. What? And therefore, I'm gonna keep it. You are literally, I'm going to take a photo. That is unbelievable what you guys are bouncing on. Anyway, so I am keeping the glasses on because wow, I can see things so beautifully. This is so nice. Wow. Anyway, so I'm on A Curse for True Love, and I have been for, it doesn't really matter how long I've been on it. Basically this entire month of January, I've only read 4 books, including this one. So this will be my 4th book that I've read, because I listened to If We Were Villains, I think, this month. Yeah, so I've been reading this for about like 5 days now, which again is kind of annoying for me, because I feel like I've just been in a book, like I've been in a reading slump. Even though I'm like enjoying the series and everything, I just feel like the reading of it I'm like struggling with. It's also not quite helping that I am in the mood for a literary fiction. I'm in the mood for a romance. I'm in the mood for literary fiction so badly. I want to read Wuthering Heights, I want to read Pride and Prejudice, or I want to listen to Pride and Prejudice, or read it. I really want to listen to Count of Monte Cristo. I'm just basically in the mood for classics right now, and like that classic literary fiction with subplots of romance, especially because Wuthering Heights is coming out as a movie with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, and I really want to read the book before that. But I think the whole point of an adaptation is to take the words that are on the page to the screen, and like hopefully not to change much, unless it's like super outdated or something is just not quite, like if something hasn't aged well maybe. But yeah, if I watch a movie or show and then read the book, I find myself thinking about those characters in my mind, like the specific actors and actresses that play them, which sometimes doesn't always match up, and it can sometimes kind of taint it for me. But regardless, I've just been in that mood. But reading this has been so much fun for me, and I'm still enjoying it thoroughly. I'm already thinking about giving this like a 4.5 because of how quick it is moving. And I think I've mentioned this earlier, that like everybody had very mixed feelings with how fast this book is, because compared to the other two, like this one just feels like a fever dream and everything is happening all at once. I personally love that. It's keeping me going. The chapters are so quick. I wanted to like say that from the beginning. The chapters are so fast, and I loved it, and I love how fast-paced it is. I've been listening and reading physically, just back and forth, and it's really fun. And even when I am going back and forth, it's not confusing. It doesn't make me like get out of the swing of things. It's actually like, it's so immersive, and I feel so good about it. You know, earlier I said the ice in my heart for Jax is melting, and now I'm officially Team Jax. But there's a character in this book that he has some intentions that are, as far as we know, good-hearted, and like in his mind what this person is doing is for the best of him and this other character in the book. And on the full picture, you're like, oh my gosh, that's not a good thing. Like, this person is not doing the right thing, but they're thinking they're doing the right thing, but they've got it mixed up too, and they're just kind of roped into this, and it's pretty sad actually. But yeah, and it's just interesting. Like, I've never seen this kind of dynamic where you have two people that you're like, well, you're basically rooting for one, but the other person you're like, oh my gosh, I see what you mean, and I see why you're making these decisions and these executive decisions, but you're actually kind of turning out evil. So that's kind of what I'm griping with right now. I really love this book. I'm enjoying it, and I'm actually pretty sad like that the world is going to come to an end in this, you know, once I'm almost halfway through. Today is January 31st, by the way, and I'm determined to finish this book today because I don't want to take this into February with me. I just want to go into like another fantasy series or literary fiction or romance. I'm in the mood. I'm a mood reader, what can I say? So loving it, and it's beautiful to see how good Stephanie Garber's writing escalated throughout these books, because with Caraval, like, it didn't feel quite, because I know she thought it out. I know she took the time to think out everything that she was writing, but for me as a reader and the way that I interpreted everything, it felt a little bit discombobulating still and almost convoluted. And so, but by the end of that series, when I was reading finale, I was like, okay, wow, I really truly understand why we did everything we did and why we were writing the way we were. And now, like, by the end of this book, I'm like, wow, I truly don't know how anybody could have thought of this, like this plot, this person, these two characters that are so complicated. And it's interesting because you find this out very, very soon into the series and just into the book in general, that Jax is a fate, which is basically immortal. Well, it is immortal. I was just telling my sister how sometimes when there's this like trope of this person is being mean to you because he loves you and he's trying to protect you, doesn't really fly with me, because it's like, you still don't have to be mean. Like, you can say things, or you can lash out sometimes. Like, if you're a human, yet like, yes, you can lash out, that happens, that's fine, but like, at least apologize and explain yourself. And by the end of the book, I need to see like a characteristic like change in you. I need to see this like turnaround and communication. That's all I'm asking for, is like communication with the other main character that you've been mean to in the sake of protecting your heart. With Six of Crows, Kaz Brekker, I didn't see that by the end of the book. Inej was literally saying by the end of the book how she wanted to really like know him, and she wanted just him to open up and tell her like what happened in his childhood that made him so broken and so like guarded, but he never actually ended up telling her anything. He just like gave her these grand gestures and surprises but never said anything. While that's beautiful in its own way, I would prefer some communication by the end of it. You know, like, if you're willing to go that far for somebody, like, at least just talk to them about it and at least just open up your heart. And so with this, I feel like he is actually going to get there, and I feel like very obvious who the two love interests are. So I don't think this is a spoiler. Also, like, it's my theory, so I'm not saying what's happening, but my theory is that he's going to get to that point where he actually does like communicate by the end of it. And also just like, he's had so much time to wrestle with the person that he is, and like, we finally get a few different POVs in the third book, and I'm here for it. I'm so like, I love a good like dual trio point of view, I don't know, but I love a good point of view shift, and this has it, and I'm just like, I'm enjoying it very thoroughly, and I want to finish it today.
Source to nurture the world, ready, sing a new tune. Weight of it all won't get me down. All there's a sound
that have not read it, I'm going to insert a quick spoiler here. So right now, Jack found Evangeline in the cursed forest and she was trapped, and then she saw Chaos and Chaos was trying to kill her, and then Jax came in and stabbed Chaos in the heart. He's a vampire, so he'll come back alive, but he's trying to save Evangeline before anything happens, right? So he says he tried to be gentle, but he tried not to hurt her, but he needed her to understand before he let her go. Yes, I am a murderer. I enjoy hurting people. I like blood. I like pain. I am a monster, but whether you remember it or not, I'm your monster, Evangeline. Her breath caught. And I'm like, wait, hold on. So are we actually like trying to get ourselves, or like you're actually trying to make us root for like a real monster? Because like in the first 2 books, I don't remember him actually like liking pain and blood and liking inflicting this kind of stuff on people. It's like, yes, I know you're immortal, but like doesn't mean that just because you're immortal you like to do those things. So I don't know if he's trying to spin the narrative or if there's just a weird going on, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then like for a second, Jax could have sworn it wasn't anger or fear he saw in her eyes. Her neck turned pink and her cheeks flushed differently from before. He couldn't tell if she was finally remembering, but he was selfish enough to hope that she was. And I'm thinking like, what you mean you're her monster? Like, what do you mean you actually like doing this kind of stuff? I'm very torn. And also like she's literally married to Apollo, and her being in love or like thinking that she's inexplicably attracted to Jax and stuff, because they obviously did fall in love in the first 2 books, but she can't remember it now because Apollo took her memories. I just still don't dig with it because it's technically cheating still, and I don't like cheating tropes like that where you fall in love with a person and it's like, I just wish there was some sort of loophole. It's like, you're the author, you get to decide what happens, and like you get to decide if she cheats or not, even emotionally like this. It's just not my favorite. But I'm still like, I see Jax as a character, as a person-ish, and I still feel for him. So she said it didn't matter that moments ago he told her that he enjoyed blood and hurt and pain. Those things were on the bottom of the deck, and she didn't want to reshuffle. Evangeline could have come up with reasons to justify this, reasons that went beyond just hearing a nickname, but she didn't want to defend her feelings. She just wanted to see where they led. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Source to nurture the world, ready, sing a new tune.
I'm on chapter 37. It's February 1st. It's February 1st, and that's my life. I'm so excited. It's getting really like, I'm like, how are we gonna solve everything in this amount of time? Like, I'm so excited for where this is going. So many things are clicking into place. So much is just happening. But yeah, so I'm on chapter 38 now, and I'm just eager to finish this book, and I think this will be minimum 4.5. Minimum. I don't want to say 5-star. Not quite yet, because I still don't really feel that, like, you know, but I do already want to reread the series. So I don't know what that means for me, or for the books, or for the rating.
Love it all won't get me down.
Kitchen is being remodeled, so just, you know, today I have my electrolyte water in here. I have a beautiful, beautiful iced coffee. We are opening up a protein soda. I mean, there's only like 4 grams of protein in this, but when you want a little no sugar soda, having protein is never a loss. She's crispy. You couldn't see that, but it like, this literally tastes like Alani peach, which I think the Alani peach is still tastier than this, but it literally tastes like an Alani, but without the caffeine, which is nice because like I love their flavors so much that sometimes that's what I find myself craving more, is like the flavor of the Alani. Also, what do we think about my sweater? I feel like I like the sleeves, like they kind of have like a slight like bump to them, and I feel like it makes my like posture look so like nice. I've gotten mixed reviews though. Some people think I look like a mother, and I think that's okay. And the sleeves themselves, they like have like this thinner part right here and then they balloon out, and I think it just looks really romantic, and I feel like a little prairie girl. I feel like I'm, you know, giving off my best Evangeline Fox vibes. February 2nd, and I finished this entire series, and yesterday I finished A Curse for True Love. These are my thoughts. So my goal, obviously, like you saw, was to finish this in January, like 31st, and just finish it off, but I couldn't because it was my dad's birthday and I got sick, and it was just like lots of random stuff happened and I just couldn't. I just didn't, okay? And so the next day I finished it and I was appalled. No pun intended, if you know what I mean. I was appalled. No, I'm going to quickly rant, the quickest little rant with spoilers real quick before we go into spoiler free content. So if you haven't read the series, or if you don't, you know, if you care to skip these spoilers, this is a timestamp, but if you have, stick around. So my question is, why didn't they get married? Why didn't Jax and Evangeline get married? Why did I think that I was seeing like clips and fan art of their marriage and like of their wedding? Also, why didn't she become a fate? Like, okay, so now that they're true loves, like she's still gonna die because she's mortal. I'm very confused now. Like, why didn't he just like get her to be a fate, and why did they live happily ever after immortals together? Or like, why wasn't there something that, like, I was just expecting more, because everybody was also saying that the last book had so much packed into it, and almost like for some people that made it harder to follow, and for some people it was almost like not fun to read because of how much was jam-packed into the book. But for me, I was like, wait, we need more. I need more. I need to know like what's gonna happen after this. Yeah, so that's my only question that I'm left with. However, let's get into the rating. I completed the series on February 1st and I'm okay with that. You know, we're moving in right into another book anyway, so I'm kind of already like past my self-disappointment in not reaching that goal. But anyway, so my rating for the first book is 3.5, so that's Once Upon a Broken Heart. Okay, so I said there is so much to follow along with this book, and I feel like if you aren't prepared to dive into deep whimsical fantasy, it will feel confusing and it might take you out of the joy of it. But if you go into this book fully expecting that anything and everything can happen, and you can't trust anything for what it is, and just go along with the ride, then you'll be good to go. I had trouble adjusting to this genre of fantasy after reading high fantasy for a long time, but it's not taking away from the fact that I keep on wanting to return to the world. Super interesting. And yeah, I mean, I still stand by that completely. I'm very glad that I'm doing my written ratings. I feel like written ratings is a little bit better for me in a way, because I always want to look back at the ratings, and I always want to look back and like remember what I thought about the book, and sometimes I can't remember what I thought about the book, and so my rating in real time kind of always helped. And so yeah, I'm glad I'm gonna do that. But anyway, so that still stands for this book, and I still, you know, I still really enjoyed it. And again, Caraval, it was very interesting because I felt like I wasn't quite prepared for the world that I was gonna go into, and just going from like deep high fantasy to very whimsical, magical dragons everywhere, like super tall mushrooms, and like it's great. And I love the fae style of fantasy, but it definitely did catch me off guard for a little while. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about that one. But once you kind of like understand that that's what you're going into, then you're good to go. And I feel like maybe it's just because I'm not that kind of reader, but at the same time, this book has made me that kind of reader. Like this entire world, I'm like, okay, now I want more. I want to read The Spell Shop. Like I want to read other books now that have this kind of style in them. Then we have The Ballad of Never After. This one I gave a 3.75. So instead of a 3.5, we have 3.75 now. And this one, I just really liked the way that everything concluded. Not concluded, but this one, the first book, compared to the other two, it's slow, but in general it's not that slow. But this one definitely started getting my blood pumping. It got my heart racing, and like I got invested into the story in this book, and I'm really glad. I love a second book for some reason. Like every time I'm reading a trilogy or a series or anything, like the second book, I don't know why, I always love. I think it's because like some people might think of it as like a filler book, but for me it's like now we have more story, we've got more history, we've got more going on. So that's what I think about this one. Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I loved this book. I feel like it was teetering between 4.7 to 5 star. I feel like this kind of goes towards like the saying, when you know should be for a 5 star. If you know it's 5 star, you know it's 5 star. If you're thinking if it's a 5 star or not, it's probably a 4.7, and that's okay. That's okay. It's interesting because like when I just finished reading it, I felt like I was teetering between a 4.7 and a 5, and I was like, you know what, man, this is a 5 star. Like come on, this has got to be a 5 star. Like I wouldn't change anything. But then like I sat on it for like another hour or two, and I was like, wait, hold on, this thing didn't happen, which I mentioned in the spoiler spoilers, like 2 things that I thought were gonna happen didn't happen, or like the 2 things that I would have inserted into the book if it were me, and just from context clues that I thought I got from TikTok and Pinterest and everything like that. I was just a little bit like, I was like, ooh, okay, like there is 2 things that I would change, and I'm kind of sad that the things didn't happen, and it doesn't take away from like the good book, and it still is a 4.7, and I feel like just because it's not a 5-star doesn't mean that it's not a really good book. Look, I still loved it, and I did almost like, I did get teary-eyed. Yeah, I was invested in so many of our characters, but I really enjoyed how we were able to like see Stephanie Garber's writing progress more and more, that it's like there's more clarity. Even though there's so much going on, there's so much more clarity with every book that she writes, and that's just like what happens when you become an author, is like you write more books and you get better at it. That's just literally what was happening, was that she was just becoming a better and better and better writer, and that's what I love about even just discovering debut novels that you really like. Like for example, when I discovered Carly Fortune, I don't think I discovered her on her debut. Wait, what the heck? Carly Fortune's debut novel is Every Summer After. I feel like that's not the first time I've like realize that. Okay, wait, that's crazy. That's actually crazy, because I remember seeing it and I loved it. Also because the art, like the artist that does Carly Fortune's book covers, she's so talented. I follow her on Instagram. I think her name is Emily something. When I found Carly Fortune, I remember it felt like finding like a hidden gem, where I was like, oh my gosh, like this is her first book, and I'm so invested now into like whatever books that she puts out now, because like this writing is already good, and I can't imagine like what more and more and more writing and experience will do. I had to attend to post-surgery Kat. She's doing great. She's just she's really tired. I think she's still on pain meds, so she's kind of like sleeping standing up, and I wanted to help her. It just felt like when you see that the author's writing style and just writing in general is getting better and better, like it's just like, it makes you excited for the next book. It makes you so excited for whatever they're gonna write next, and that's kind of what I experienced with this book. So not only did we have a very, very good time with these books, but we also got end post-credit scenes. So at the end of everything, and then in this edition that we have, she annotates. So turn the page to go behind scenes with Stephanie Garber, and then basically it's a specific chapter where something crazy happens, and it's her annotations. And I think that's really cool that like she did that, and like right there, like she literally wrote that, you know. Obviously it's printed, but I don't know if it's actually like a book, or maybe she just did Apple Pencil or something, because that writing is beautiful. But anyway, yeah, so that was really fun. In A Curse for True Love, we have like a alternate ending. Basically, I started it and I got deep enough into it where I was like, this is not something I want to read about. Like I really don't care. Like I already finished the series, and I'm like, I'm happy with where we did it, and I don't really care about this specific character she decided to put at the end of this specific edition, because every edition has a different ending, and this one had a specific one. So yeah guys, thanks so much for watching, and comment down below what you think I should read next, and like what iconic series that you would give up anything to read for the first time. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, and I hope you liked and enjoyed this video and just enjoyed following along with me as I read this for the first time. Where it's still a working title. It's still a working title, so we'll see. Yeah, without further ado, I gotta go read.